Welcome to Poker Vlog number 19 and happy belated new year since today is our first session of 2023 since it's the second. So I decided to film since it feels a little extra special and there's a 2-5 going on that looks really good. So with all that said, let's jump right into the poker room. Hopefully we could have some action and run good to start the year. And we head into the poker room on a Monday night. And fun fact, Mondays are my most profitable day, at least for last year. That definitely sounds odd, but yeah, it just seemed like on Monday there's just been a lot of good 2-5 games going on, and it seems the same thing today. So we buy in for $1,000, head on to the table, and let's play our first hand. Straddle is going on for the first one. We're looking at a king jack suited in the cutoff, under the gun one limp, so I make it $40 and get under the gun and under the gun one to call. So 3 ways to a flop. Flop is pretty bad, 8, 10, 7. So it checks to us on a board that definitely I think is better for them. They could have about 2 pairs and straights, and we do have absolutely nothing. We check back. Turn is ace. That gives us now a gut shot. When it checks to us, I think we could start representing this. I feel like if one of them had 2 pairs, they'd start betting a good amount of time. And even sometimes with the ace, I think, even though they probably shouldn't, since this card is better for us. So let's try to bluff with our gut shot. I make it $40. Under than folds, but under than one does call. So heads up to a river. River's pretty bad. It's a 6. Now any 9 is a straight, and he leads out for $75. And yeah, there is a missed flush draw, but I think most likely he just has a straight and thinks I'm going to check back with an ace and wants to get value from them. So I'm not going to call with king high. I fold, he takes it down. Now we've got ace 4 off in the big blind. The hijack makes it 15. Cutoff call, small blind calls, and definitely on the loose side. But I decided to call as well, so 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes 10, 4, jack, so bottom pair. But yeah, when it checks to me, I'm checking, I fall into a bet, but that doesn't happen since it checks around. Turn is beautiful, it's a4, so you have trips. Now small blind bets $35, and I considered raising here. I just felt like it was gonna look really strong and just get a lot of folds. And if I call here, maybe hijack and cutoff will call behind. Definitely we're risking, there's a lot of draws, flush draws, straight draws, but in the moment, that's what I do. Hijack and cutoff fold, so heads up to a river. River is a king, and now he checks. Now it just feels like it's a jack, so I decided to go really big here. One of the thoughts I was thinking, I felt like I was going to be raising the turn with a lot of 4s and calling with draws, so it could look like I missed my draw and I'm bluffing. I make it $200. He thinks for a little bit, but sadly does end up making the right decision and folds, and we take it down. Now there's a button straddle, and we looked at a pocket 10s and a low jack. Under the gun limp, so I make it $45. Again, big blind and under the gun to call, so 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes queen a6, so 2 overcards, so a pocket pair, not the best. And now things get interesting since under the gun leads out, but just $20, a super small bet. This is the same player as the first hand that led the river. And yeah, I'm not liking my hand, but I think he could be doing this a lot with a draw. He could have a flush draw, maybe a gut shot. We are blocking some of those, but it's so small, it just doesn't seem strong. So I decided to call, mean in position. Turn is a 5. Now it's $40, and yeah, it definitely feels weak. Maybe if he was more of an old man coffee type of guy, I'd consider turning my hand into a bluff now. But this guy's crazy sticky. So if he's doing this with a weak ace, I don't think he's ever folding top pair to me, even if I barrel the river. And if he's doing it with a queen, maybe that. But yeah, again, such a sticky guy, especially in the spot. I think you can still be doing it with draws. We may be good. I decide just to call. River's pretty bad. It's a deuce of hearts, so the flush does come in. But now he bets $40 again. So this is very interesting since I don't think he's ever doing this with a flush, and I do think he's very weak with this size. So now I started thinking, I could have all the flushes here. I'd just be calling against him. I know I hit it. Of course, I'm going to raise. So if I raise here, yes, he's super damn sticky, but really, who bluffs the river? This is never a bluff. This is always value, right? And I'd probably be doing this with value with aces as well if I just called him with the better ones. So I do decide to try to bluff this crazy sticky guy. I make it $200. He goes into the tank for a little bit. He starts looking at his hand. That makes me feel pretty good. That usually means that they're going to fold, but he does end up putting in the money. So a bluff does not work. I say, you're good. And he flips over queen 9 for middle pair 9 kicker that did not fold the raise on the river, even though the flush comes in. So I am very happy with my bluff here. I think I read the hand pretty well. I'd probably get everyone to fold here except this guy. So this is the last time I'm trying to bluff him. I'm not going to try again. Now we're just straight up going for value since it seems like he won't fold to anything. After this hand, we go carded for over an hour. So yeah, definitely not the session we were hoping for to start the year. Now we're down $450. But as I said, this is a great game, plenty of time to go. So let's stay positive. Let's move on to the next hand. It may look weird, this next one, since I switched the zoom to 0.5. I was just curious to see how it looked. The straddle is going on. We're looking at ace jack off in a hijack. I make it $30 and get the big blind and under the gun to call. So 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes 6, 8, king. Big blind checks, and once again, under the gun leads out just $15. So I guess this is his thing. And now, as we know, he could be doing this with middle pair. So in a spot, as I said, I'm not going to try to bluff this guy again. And we're just getting a good price to hit our ace or jack. That's probably good against this size. I call, not a big blind. He min raises to $30. So under the gun calls, I've definitely not been in this spot before. I really don't know what the hell he's doing this with. I don't know what the hell is min raising. It kind of looks strong, but if he had a strong hand, I think you'd just make it a bigger size. So in a spot that we're getting a good price to hit our ace or a jack, that will probably be good. A good amount of the time, I call. Turn is a 3. Now they check to me, and I'm not going to try to act like I know what's going on here. I have no clue. All I know is I said I'm not going to try to bluff under the gun, so I check back. River is a 7. Once again, it checks to me, and yep, I check back. Big blind doesn't want to show under the gun. Once again, he flips over middle pair. He has jack 6. And once again, he takes it down. And yeah, he's been milking us with his way of playing his middle pair, since he definitely got max value out of us both times. So yeah, definitely a frustrating start. Let's see if ace king off and under the gun 2 can help us out. I make it $20. Now the button, the same player that check raised the flop in the previous hand, makes it 75. Folds back to us, and against a player, first time playing against him, I don't know what he'll be 3-betting with. I call, heads up to a flop. Flop is beautiful, ace 4-4, so you have top in a 3-bet pot. I check, he bets $50, and we call. Turn is a 9, I check, and now he slows down and checks behind. River is a 7, and I just felt, or he just had nothing that was just going to fold, or maybe he was pocket controlling with a weaker ace, or a pocket pair. And sometimes the people with kings, queen, jacks, they just don't like to fold them. And I just had a feeling this player, first time playing against him, but I just didn't think he was wanting to fold. So I make it huge. I overbet $400. He thinks and does call. We show and we take it down. Feels nice. Definitely feels max value in this spot. I later found out that he watches the vlog, so shout out to him. He definitely is bringing action to this vlog, and just wait for the next hand that's against him as well. Straddle is going on, and we're looking at pocket kings in the low jack. I make it $40. Now the small blind, same player as before, 3-bet us, but just $80. Folds to us, and definitely interesting size. Very small for being out of position, but yeah, we're just in very weird spots that doesn't happen often in this session. And I kind of felt after the previous hand and now this hand, they're pretty close in time. He was just kind of wanting to play and battle against us. So I think I'm always ahead here. Of course, we have kings, so I'm 4-betting. I make it $200, and he goes all in. Yes, 500 behind. We snap calling. Flips over ace-10 suited. So yeah, definitely wanted the battle. It's always nice. Again, I appreciate the action. Let's see the run out. There's no sweat, since as the dealer's flipping the cards, we see a king, and there's another one. King 5. We flop quad kings in an all-in pot. He is running dead. This feels amazing. Last 2 times we have quads, they were on a vlog, so definitely the cherry on the top that we're filming. Turn is a 4, and where's the ace? So only time I would have wished he had pocket aces, since this would have been a bad beat jackpot. And just with those 2 hands back to back, we are now in the green. We got a $1,900 stack in front of us, up $500. So feeling great. Definitely a nice turn of events. Let's keep it going. Now I got ace king off in the cutoff. The low jack limps, so I make it $20 and get the big blind and limper to call. So 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes 9-3 queen, so we don't have too much going on, but it checks to me against 2 pretty weak ranges on a board that's not that wet. I'm going to stab at it. I make it $20. Big blind folds, but a low jack does call, so heads up to a turn. Turn is a deuce, and in a spot that could have a lot of top pairs, I don't think I'm going to get a fold even against a triple barrel. And if we check here, we can still delay and bet on the river that we could be doing with some weak queens and try to get middle pair, bottom pair to fold. I decided to check back. No need to bluff though, since the river is a king. So we have top pair, top kicker, straight does come in, but he checks. I don't think he'd have it too often, so let's get some value. I make it $75, and sadly he does fold, and we take it down. Let's keep the premiums going, and we got pocket aces under the gun. I make it $15, and everybody folds. So that's always a little annoying, especially on such a call happy table. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's move on to the next hand. I got ace queen off in the small blind. Hijack makes it 15. Cutoff calls and like 3-betting here. I make it $75. Hijack folds, but the cutoff calls. So heads up to a flop. Flop is great. Ace 9-6, so top pair, queen kicker. Always feel great hitting the board in 3-bet pots, especially when you're out of position. I see bet for $50 and he calls. As if the flop wasn't good enough, turn is a queen giving us top two, and I would just hope he has ace that doesn't want to fold or slow play 2-pair. I make it $150. But sadly, that's not the case since he does fold. Okay, let's see if we can get more value out of them this time. Pocket aces in the big blind. Under the gun limps, under the gun one limps, folds to us. So yeah, not too much action, but at least there's somebody involved. I make it $30 and we see the most amazing news when under the gun limp 3-bets to $230. Folds to us, and this looks so damn strong. If we didn't have aces, I'd probably think he has it. So in a spot that a player looks super strong, I'm fast playing, I'm not just calling here. I make it $630. He tanks for a good amount of time. I mean, I'm pretty much pocket committing him since he has about $1,000 total. So he should just jam or fold, but it's not the case. But still great since he calls. Flop comes queen, deuce, 4, so losing against pocket queens, but that's about it. That's very likely he has. He looks super strong, so I'm just thinking kings, queens, maybe jacks. But I'm going all in on every flop. He just has $370 behind, so that's what I do. He goes into the tank. That just makes me feel good. Obviously, we're good. And I don't know what the hell he has that is even thinking about it. It's just such a small size compared to the pot. And finally, he does call. I ask if he wants to run it twice. And I know people just really don't like this. It's weird. $2,000 is still a good amount of money for me. So as much, if I can lower the variances, I'm happy with that. He seems that he doesn't want to, and I just tell him I got pocket aces, and the moment he hears that, he says, okay, let's run it twice. First run out comes a 7 and a jack. Second run out comes a king and a 4, so I think I'm most likely chopping this since I was putting him mostly on kings, queens, or jacks, but he does end up mucking when I show my pocket aces, so my guess is ace king. I don't know what else would think so much on a flop, since I think he's snap calling with ace queen, so we'll never know. And with that, we have a stack of $3,030 in front of us. So we are up over $1,600. It's a super sun run to start the year. Feels amazing, and we still have time to go. Now we got ace 9 off in a small blind. Under the limps, folds to us. With the offsuit version, I'm happy to see in a flop. I call, big blind checks, 3 ways to a flop. And the sun run continues. Flop from the ace, queen, ace. We flop trips. Maybe under the gun could have a bet or kicker, but for the most part, I think we're always good. But I don't want to bet here since it's going to look super strong. So I check, and sadly, it checks around. Turn is a 4. I should have checked again here since I feel like very likely to have nothing. And if I check, maybe they're going to start trying to get value with a queen. Big blind checks, and under the gun does bet. He makes it $10, and let's try to get more money in there. I check raise the 40. Big blind folds, and he does call, so heads up to a river. River is a king. He's now a chopping against most aces unless he has a full house, but I was thinking mostly he has a queen that thinks we have a flush draw. So I'm going to bet big. I make it $150. He pretty quickly calls. I show, and we chop against ace 3. So we both flop trips, and sadly, that's a pretty bad river for us, and we chop it up. I got pocket 5s in the hijack. No jack makes it 15, and my decision here is very table dependent. If it was a very aggressive 3-bet pre-flop game, I'd just fold or 3-bet sometimes, but this table has just been very call happy, so I felt like if I call, I'm just most likely going to be able to see a flop unless someone has a very netted hand like aces, ace, king, premiums. So I do call, and small blind, big blind call as well, so 4 ways to a flop. And of course, for how we've been running, it's more likely we'll flop a set. It comes 5, queen, 7, so bottom set. It checks to us. I see bet for $30, trying to get value from top pair, but sadly, everyone does fold, so super nice to flop a set, but bittersweet when nobody has anything and we take it down. Then I got pocket jacks in the small blind. Under the gun and hijack limps. The button makes it $20. I'm always 3-betting here. I make it $90. Under the gun folds, but the hijack calls, so limp call 3-bet, definitely interesting range. And so does the button, so 3 ways to a flop. Flop is pretty good, 6-7 deuce, so no overcards, so a pocket pair. I'm a little worried about the hijack, limps, and then that call 3-bets is a lot of pocket pairs, so very likely that pocket 6s, pocket 7s, pocket deuces. But yeah, I'm always c-betting here. If he raises, we'll just see what to do from there. I'm making $90, but they both just end up folding, so yeah, happy with that. We take it down, and this brings us to the last hand of the session. Straddle is going on. We looked on an ace-queen suited in the big blind. Low jack limps, button makes it 50, small blind calls, and yeah, against the button and small blind, I think my suited ace-queen is pretty ahead against their ranges. So I 3-bet, I make it $225. Now under the gun goes into the tank. And yeah, if he calls here, it's definitely pretty strong. I'm just happy, truthfully, taking down this pre-flop since we're about to leave. I'm not in the mood to play a huge pot right before leaving. And he does end up folding. So does everybody else. So yeah, very nice, taking down over $100 pre-flop. And that ends our session. What a sun run. We started pretty bad. I was not excited, and then we just couldn't lose a hand. So we had one of the best sessions so far. So a great way to start the year. Let's see how much we're exactly up. Let's rack up, cash out, and see how we did. So we were in for 1400 since we did have a rough start, but we ended out for 33.85 for a profit of 19.85. That should be right. So yeah, pretty amazing. I think I have like a spider sense for when to vlog because I don't have a set day. I just kind of get here. It's how I feel or how I look at the table. And yeah, of course, if it looks like action table, more likely the game's gonna be good. But yeah, the last few, the previous vlog and this one has definitely been very above average. And the fact that we hit quads and we're blocking is just so damn lucky. Just a cherry on the top of hitting, you know, that huge pot and taking it down. So thank you guys so much for watching. Just great start to the year. Feels amazing. And as always, if you guys should subscribe, it helps a lot. Leave a comment. Always happy to talk about hands, and like the video, and I'll see you guys next week.